Hey, and welcome to the Near Dark Podcast, a podcast for horror movies. We have been resurrected through the use of the Necronomicon, and with us we have Joseph, Anthony, and me, Ogalicious.
Hello, I'm Anthony.
Yo,
So, our movie for this episode is The Evil Dead from 1981. But first, let's go through what we've recently seen. Starting with you, Joseph.
oh me.
Yeah.
Well, uh, well, I've seen a whole bunch of stuff since we last recorded, but I'll rattle through a little bit of them. I rewatched Hollow Man, the director's cut with you, Tagger. I think.
I can confirm this.
Yeah, I think you you watched it with me. Anyway, it's the sci-fi slasher with Kevin Bacon from the early 2000s about a scientist that tries out a invisible serum on himself and well basically goes fucking ape shit at the end of the movie and the slasher action starts. Um, it's one of those movies I think I've seen it 100 times since I recorded on VHS from the TV around 2002 or 2003 or something. Um, uh, for me, it's favorite basically. What do you guys think about it?
I've only seen it once a long time ago, and I really liked it.
Yeah. What about you,
Yeah,
Tiger?
I really enjoyed it. First time I saw it was when I was up in Chicago with my uncle a few years back. Well, say a few years, but it was like it's 10-ish. But that was my first time seeing the movie, and it was a really good movie.
Yeah.
It really captured the essence of like science fiction horror.
Yeah. Um, and the second movie I want to talk about, I actually watched that tonight. It's the sequel to the 2008 home invasion movie, The Strangers. The Strangers Prey at Night. And instead of being a home invasion movie, the Prey at Night is a straight up slasher movie. It's about a family of four that goes to a relative's mobile home park, like trailer park or whatever, uh, because they're gonna send away the daughter of the family because she's been naughty. And shortly after they arrived at the mobile home park, a woman knocks on the door and asks for Tamara. Um, does does that ring any bells, Tagger?
Yeah,
It's the exact same thing as in the first movie. Anyway, and it doesn't take long before all hell breaks loose. After this woman has knocked on the door and asked after Tamara, and well, I thought the first The Strangers were okay. It was a real slow burn, and the ending was a real chiller. Like the hair in my neck stood right out when they explained why they were doing it. And Pray at Night is well, basically it's dumber and it's more action packed and uh, it's more what's it called? It's not logical whatsoever. There are there were some things in the movie I was like, okay, and how did that happen? And well, it's just a fun slasher movie. just shut up off your brain and grab some popcorn and get entertained by it. I guess none of you have seen it yet.
I
No, I haven't seen
haven't.
it.
No.
Well, it's a recommend from me anyway. Well, you don't have to have seen the first one to be honest, but it helps a little bit because they reuse uh, the stalker characters from the first one. They got new actors for the stalker characters, but they got the same masks and such.
Okay.
Yeah. Last thing I want to talk briefly about is the TV series of Scream, the MTV produced TV series. That's well, basically it's a spin-off on the old Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson slasher movies. Have any of you guys seen it?
No, I
I've never
haven't.
seen the first episode.
Mm. What about you, Tiger?
No, I haven't.
Mm. Well, I've seen both seasons of the series, and I'm waiting for the third season that was supposed to premiere in March. But thanks to the whole uh, what was it called? Something Stein. Oh, Weinstein. Weinstein.
The nice guy,
Yeah,
the gentleman.
yeah. He was one of the producers. Well, both brothers, Bob and Harvey Weinstein, were executive producers on the series and the movies. Anyway, I'm waiting for the third season, which were supposed to premiere in March, but thanks to the well, the hysteria about the Weinsteins, it has been laid on ice, I think. Um, anyway, the first two seasons are connected to each other, and they have the series have nothing to do with the four movies at all, besides being a slasher series, and uh, the mask resembles a little bit of the mask they use in the movies. It looks a little bit different, and yeah, well, um, I'm not gonna go into any details what the series is about. It's pretty complicated, but I like it. I think the second season were a bit stronger than the first season because in the first season they made the mistake by like there were 3 episodes in a row where no one got killed whatsoever. No slasher action whatsoever. It was just high school drama basically. While in the second season, the characters are killed off like in each episodes, and I think there were some episodes where there were 2 or 3 murders or something. So that was kind of good. But if you want to watch the second season, you have to see the first season to make any sense of it all. But overall, I would say watch it. It's a good series, and it's not too long either. I think the first season is like 10 episodes, and the second season is 12 or 13 episodes, I think. So that's a recommend from me.
Cool. I have only watched Inside, a French slasher slash home invasion movie. It's violent to say the least, and It's about a pregnant mother who has lost her husband, who gets invaded by some crazy lady who wants to steal her unborn baby. So yeah, tons of blood in it. It's a very entertaining movie though. I like it a lot. It's a French movie, and I made the mistake of watching the dubbed version. So the first minute of it, I thought the acting was pretty bad until I realized. Then I realized what was wrong with it. So
You haven't seen
I
the.
didn't.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, it was the uncut one, but it was dubbed.
Yeah, but it wasn't that I'm gonna ask you.
Oh.
You didn't watch the remake back to back, or?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I think the remake came out a year or two after the original French movie. I haven't seen
Okay.
it. I've only seen the French, and it's kind of hard to watch that in a couple of scenes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah. Same here.
yeah,
I.
it's some pretty violent parts in that movie.
Yeah, it's really horrific.
Um, Again, I'm an idiot. The remake came 2016, and the original came 2007.
Okay.
Anyway, have you watched it, Tagger?
No, I don't believe I have.
Oh, you should. It's really good.
Yeah, that's about it about that movie.
Yeah. I got a question for Tagger again, by the way. Have you seen High Tension or Switchblade Romance?
I don't think either one of those sound familiar, so no.
It's two different titles for the same movie. It's called I'm gonna butcher this, but I think it's called How to Tension or something in French, and it's a French slasher movie from I think 2003. I know Ogge has seen it. He watched it with me a couple of weeks ago. Uh, that's a movie you should check out as well if you're into more violent slasher movies.
Okay.
And the last thing you and I have to talk about, okay, is the Wolf Cop movies. Do you want to go with the first
Oh
one
yeah.
or the second one?
Let's go with the first one because it's the first one.
Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie was just a blast to watch. It was hilarious. It's about a cop, an alcoholic cop, who becomes a werewolf. And when he's a werewolf, he gets stronger by drinking alcohol. It was a lot better than I expected it to be.
Yeah, it's not a good movie, but it's a very entertaining one. It's just plain out stupid and dumb and fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we have another Wolf Cop, and yes, it's called Another Wolf Cop, which is the sequel. And I didn't believe my eyes when we were watching this movie. It was just well, it's one of the dumbest fucking movies I've ever seen in my entire life, I think. It takes the first movie and ups the stupidness of the first movie like 10 times, and well, it's just very entertaining. It's not a good movie, but if you want some brainless popcorn entertainment, you should definitely check it out.
I've never had brainless popcorn before. How's it taste?
Brainless popcorn entertainment, I said. I think. right, I'm done.
Okay,
Your turn,
cool.
Tiger.
Okay. The the last movie that I saw was May from 2002 with Angela Bettis and Anna Faris.
Isn't that a slasher movie?
Hmm.
I think I saw that like 15 years ago or something on TV. I think I have it in my collection, but go on.
Basically, the story of it is this girl named May grows up with a lazy eye and a they say it's a traumatic childhood, but it's not really. She's just because of her lazy eye, she distanced herself as well as others distance themselves away from her to the point where she's extremely antisocial and at the same time desperate for friends. So what her mother does is she makes her a doll. I'm sorry, not buys her one. She makes her a doll and says, if you can't uh, find friends, make one. And the whole movie is just based around that. Based and she just goes around uh, not so much making friends, but she finds people whose body parts she likes, and she basically takes their body parts and makes a sort of Frankenstein friend.
Hmm.
Um, all in all, I'd definitely recommend it if you've not seen it before. It's it takes some time to I want to say for the blood to happen, but once it does, it's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch that one. I got it on my need to rewatch list, but I haven't come around to it yet.
Um, Other than that, I don't think I've actually seen uh, any more movies in the horror genre.
Okay.
Okay, well then. All right, so the movie for this episode is Evil Dead, and we're gonna start by showing you, showing you the trailer.
Showing.
All right, so here's the trailer for The Evil Dead.
I have seen the dark shadows moving in the woods, and I have no doubt that whatever I have resurrected through this book is sure to come calling for me.
No, it was the woods themselves. They're alive, Ashley.
I fear that the only way to stop those possessed by the spirits of the book is through the act of bodily dismemberment.
I don't care what happens to her. She's your girlfriend. You take care of her.
Evil Dead. It's a movie with a very simple plot. It's about five friends who travel to a cabin out in the woods, and they found a book. It's actually called the Necronomicon, which starts transforming them into demons. And that's about it for the plot, really.
It's very simple.
Yeah, it's a very simple. It's a low budget movie, Um, I really like it because despite it being such a simple and low budget movie, it still managed to. The first half, it actually keeps you in a lot of suspense until yeah, they start turning, and it actually gets outright scary at some points. I thought, and then it's just entertaining from then on, and there's a lot of gore in it. Good looking, actually. It's yeah, I really liked it. Uh, what do you guys think about it?
Do you want to go first, Tiger?
Sure. Um, as a first-time watcher of the original Evil Dead, I thought it was a pretty fun movie. Albeit, after I checked on the Wikipedia and stuff, I noticed that it may have been the only movie to more than like triplicate its budget in the box office, because it was like about 200 or so thousand, and it made like almost almost 6 or 7 times that.
Yeah,
Damn, didn't know that. To be honest.
yeah.
So what did you think about the movie? Like,
Overall, it was a fun movie, albeit it had some of its like cheesy moments. I think the part that I really liked the most was the time lapse decomposition towards the end after the after he burned the book.
Uh,
hmm you mean uh, that the time stops after they well read out of the book, or
No, no, towards the end after I think it's Ash. Um, After he burns the Necronomicon in the fireplace.
that's actually my favorite part as well. Just because of effects when you see them melting, blood and chaos and everyone and everything. It looks sort of like some stop motion animated kind of thing.
it is
Yeah,
Just
it is
yeah, I
stop
know.
motion stop motion
Yeah,
animated.
yeah, I know, but I meant like the entire movie was just a stop motion thing
Mm,
at those type of scenes.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's good stuff. And
So, do you guys want to know
yeah,
what I think about it?
no, I mean yes.
Oh, oi, asshole. Well, my connection to this movie probably goes way, way, way more back than for you guys. I watched this for the first time on the Swedish uncut VHS tape of the movie when I was 9 years old, and it scared the living shit out of me. And for the longest time, I couldn't watch it, even though looking back on it, it's some of the effects are very, very, very good, despite the fact that the movie is very low budget. Uh, while some of the others aren't really well good nowadays.
Yeah.
But um, I've lost count on how many times I've seen this movie. It's probably up there in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's like you said, Ogie. It got the scares. It's a bit cheesy on in a couple of scenes, and uh, it's some scenes are really eerie as well. Like the scene when Linda's doing the "We're gonna get you" rhyme, you know.
Yeah.
And the POV sequence when what's she called? Cheryl, I think, when she's down
Yeah.
in the basement and is possessed, and you see from her eyes when Shelley says, "Look at her eyes, look at her eyes. For God's sake, what happened to her eyes?" That sequence always makes my skin crawl. I don't know why, but it's just. Ugh.
Yeah.
And I got a question for you guys. Prior to the infamous tree rape scene, when Cheryl hears someone calling out her name outside outside of the window, why does she go like 20 miles straight into the fucking woods?
Uh, I don't know.
It's just
I don't.
it's just don't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
like
I
like
think the best way to explain it is just she's stupid for the sake of the plot.
yeah, but it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
By the way, did you guys notice the square when you see the moon in every sequence when you see the moon?
I don't think I noticed it. No.
No, I didn't.
Well, when I rewatched it this time, I listened to the commentary track of Bruce Campbell on the old Anchor Bay, the Evil Dead trilogy DVD box, and he pointed out the the square. You can see it pretty clearly in each of the moon sequences when you just see the moon for like 3 or 4, 5 seconds. I can't remember what it said about it, but they had to do the, well the sequence after they completed the movie. Do you guys have any scenes you want to talk about? Or
Uh,
I
I
probably.
got a couple. If you don't have any.
I think probably the scene where the lady's locked in the cellar or whatever, and
Cheryl.
she's yeah, and she's just calling out to her friends in her normal voice.
Yeah.
I'm watching, and I'm just sitting there and I'm watching like, don't fall for it, don't fall for it, and mainly I'm saying this to the woman because I figured she was going to be the one who walks up and basically pulls a stupid act. No, it ended up being
Ash.
Ash. Yeah, it ended up being Ash, and I'm just like, why? I told her not to do it. Why would you think it's okay for you to do it?
uh, I, I guess you haven't seen the sequels or the TV series, Tagger.
No.
Well, basically, in the first Evil Dead movie, Ash is he's pretty useless during most of the movie, and in the end, he's starting to man up and fight back. But in the sequels and the TV series, he's just a moron. He's a complete fucking idiot. And it's basically the whole joke about the character. He's just useless and a dumbass. And well, uh, but yeah, that scene is pretty effective in a way because you as a viewer know that it's not okay, but at the same time, Linda seems to be okay, you know.
Which one was Linda again?
Ash's girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
She's the one who's doing the "We're gonna get you" rhyme. So I think that scene is pretty eerie.
Yeah, it's
Somewhat.
actually that's actually one of my creepiest moments
Yeah.
when she's also just laughing and watching him,
Mm.
like sitting there smiling all creepy.
Yeah, the We're Gonna Get You scene is probably one of the highlights of the movie.
Yeah.
The tree rape scene, what do you guys think about that?
Um, Entertaining.
I mean,
It's a big what the fuck moment though.
Yeah. It's just
I mean, if
you go
sorry,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if you're just out here allowing nature to rape you, I mean, come on, you might deserve it, kinda.
Well, it was the demons who raped her. It's not nature, you know. It was the evil force.
It's in my eyes, it's nature. A tree came to life, wrapped its vines around you, and got you. Like you could have broke the vines and ran away, but no, you just let the shit happen. And disclaimer, I'm not saying rapists are in the right. I'm just saying if you let a tree rape you, then by golly, you need to die.
No pity. No pity.
None whatsoever.
Well, I don't know really what I think about this scene. It's just there for shock value, basically. I would think a lot of women who went to this movie back in 1981 crossed their legs during that scene.
Probably.
Not trying to be rude, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
The next scene I want to talk about is
I don't know what you mean. Please explain.
the door's over there, Tagger.
Who says I'm going to the door?
He's saying that would probably hurt.
Yeah, basically. It's like one of the scenes in Friday the 13th, the final chapter, when a guy gets impaled through his crotch with a spear gun. I guess a lot of men who went to the cinema watching that movie went oof during
Yeah.
that scene. Anyway, moving on. Pencil in ankle scene. That must be the biggest oof moment in the entire movie, I think.
Yeah, that one hurt to watch.
Yeah, it has always made me go ouch. What do you think
Yeah.
about it, Tagger?
Don't stick your feet out if some bitch is grabbing for a sharpened pencil. But
Well, she was laying on the floor and it looked like she was passed out.
But to be honest, it was I want to say it was like a weird sequence, just because like I felt like I was kind of expecting it, but at the same time I was like I didn't want it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it did, and it was just like it stung a little. I'll put it at that. It stung a little bit.
Yeah, it's the biggest ouch moment in the entire movie, I'd say.
Yeah. I don't think you can do that in real life though. They were like a
well,
No,
she was possessed by a demon, so she probably had some otherworldly powers or something. You know,
yeah. Yeah, that's probably why.
you have to
No,
suspend a bit of disbelief when it comes to these kind of movies.
No, I think something like that's kind of possible, but maybe not the whole wiggling it around.
No, the pencil would have probably broken off.
That would probably be worse than wiggling it.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to get the pen out.
Like I said, the biggest ouch moment in the whole entire movie.
Yeah, and the tip like breaks off, so you have to try to get that one out as well.
Shut it, yo.
I don't know. I would probably say the biggest ouch moment was probably I think it was towards the end where one of the demons was like trying to claw at Ash's leg through his
Yeah, I forgot that one. Oof.
Oh yeah,
When I think it's Cheryl, the possessed Cheryl, claws at his leg. It's
yeah.
all torn up and shit.
I'm amazed he could walk after that.
Well, movie magic.
Yeah,
It's plot armor.
yeah, exactly.
And the last scene, I guess, I want to talk about is you touched upon that already, Ogge. The ending sequence with the stop motion animation.
Yeah,
I think nowadays I don't think it looks good, but you have to excuse the effects because of the budget restraints. And I have a hard time seeing them doing it in any other way than what they did. I think the effects fits in with the rest of the movie, so to speak, if you know what I mean.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. I kind of like. I like that the effects look bad. It just feels more chaos in a way.
yeah, exactly. Well, I think we're gonna touch a little bit upon the remake as well, but I think we're gonna save that one for an standalone episode. But I want to talk briefly about the remake as well. But what do you guys think about the last sequences of the movie just before the end?
Uh, I I like it for what it was because this was a movie that was never meant to have a sequel.
Yeah.
It got it later anyway.
Yeah, well, it was a semi-sequel, semi-remake.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, well, I actually I like the ending.
Mm. What do you think, Dagger?
I thought it was for something you say that wasn't um for something you say it wasn't supposed to have a sequel. It ended just like that. It ended really well.
But what do you think about the last shot of the movie? You know, when the evil force go through the cabin and it catches Ash, and then the credit rolls.
Uh,
It's pretty well done. I think it's made with a camera on a bike actually.
If I remember correctly, they set the camera on a bike, and Sam Raimi, the director, ran straight through the cabin and onto Bruce. So he crashed into him.
Yeah, I think I read something about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that last shot is excellent because you know Ash is fucked.
Yeah,
What do you think about it, Tiger?
I'll be honest. Toward at the end of the movie, after I thought Ash made it out, I actually tuned out. I didn't really notice the whole dark forces trying to
Oh,
devour his body.
well, go back and watch it again.
That's
then.
all. Maybe another time, Kipo.
Watch it 10 times now. After
No.
we stopped recording.
No.
All right. You guys want to go into some background or?
yeah,
All right. You had a shit ton of it, didn't you, Ogge?
yeah. I have a lot about
Okay.
the production and how it's made, sort of.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to start off, Tagger, or should I, or
Wait, second.
background?
You go ahead and start.
All right. The original title of the movie was Book of the Dead, but according to Bruce on the commentary, they changed it to The Evil Dead because I think it was the producer or the financer of the movie said something like if they used the title Book of the Dead, people would think they were gonna read a book for 90 minutes. So he insisted on the change of the title. And according to Bruce, again from the commentary, the cabin burned down a year or two after they finished filming at the cabin by some yahoos, his words. And if you look closely, when Ash and Scott is down in the basement in the beginning of the movie, you can see a ripped poster of Wes Craven's The Hills Have Eyes in the background. This was a reference to a ripped poster for Jaws, which you can see in The Hills Have Eyes. And later on in 1984, Wes Craven paid a tribute to the Evil Dead, because you can see a short clip of the Evil Dead playing on Nancy's TV in A Nightmare on Elm Street. And in 1987, when Sam Raimi directed this sequel/remake, Evil Dead 2, you can see Freddy Krueger's glove in the shed in the beginning of the movie. And the title of the book differs from movie to movie. In the first movie it's called Naturum Demonto, which is called in the remake as well, in Evil Dead 2 and in Army of Darkness, and I think in Ash vs. Evil Dead as well. It's called Necronomicon Ex Mortis, which is roughly translated to Book of the Dead. And I got a couple of quotes from the commentary of Bruce Campbell as well. The second time when Ash gets thrown into a shelf, he gets thrown into like 3 shelves or something during the movie. He says, "Now I got a thing about shells, I don't know what it is." And when Scott cuts off possessed Shelley's hand, he says, "You gotta hand it to her, folks." When Ash slaps possessed Linda, he says, "Guys, don't try that at home." And finally, when Ash says, "Oh, you bastards, why are you torturing me like this? Why?" he answers, "Because you're so stupid." And that's all I got.
Okay. Do you have anything, Tagger?
No, I didn't have anything.
Okay. Well, this was actually not an easy movie to make. Like this was actually Sam Raimi's first movie that he ever did, his first feature-length film.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put something in there. He did a short movie called Within the Woods back in 1979, I think, to get the financing for The Evil Dead.
Okay.
Within the Woods were like a shorter version of The Evil Dead, but with no budget, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. Continue on.
Yeah. Well, as I said, this was his first feature-length film, and he had just turned 20 when he started making it. He was very young, and he did it with friend Bruce Campbell. They were like high school buddies, and they actually all of the actors and the crew had to live in that same cabin they filmed the movie in. So it was not very good living conditions. Like they had no shower or anything. It could go weeks before they could shower. Anyway, they later, when they had filmed the half of the movie, they actually ran out of budget, so they had to get back maybe a year later and film the second half, which was mostly just Bruce Campbell with a lot of stand-ins with a lot of makeup on, and they managed to complete the movie finally. And then they had lots of issues, like they didn't really know how to publish it, so Sam Raimi finally met the guy who published Night of the Living Dead, and they also showed the movie to Stephen King, who loved it, so they could actually use his name in the promotion. And like Josef said, they had to change the title because of Book of the Dead sounded boring, so they brainstormed a lot of ideas, and The Evil Dead was the least worst they could come up with. And they also never meant the movie to have a sequel. They wanted to end it right there. So they actually sold the rights to it. But actually both Bruce Campbell and Sam realized that they to actually be able to last in the movie business, a good way would be to make a sequel. So apparently they had some sort of a loophole where like they had sold the rights, but not the characters and the story. So they could actually make the sequel anyway.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that actually.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
yeah.
Continue.
I'm done.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So, you guys have any last thoughts about The Evil Dead? Oh yeah, we were gonna mention the remake as well.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys seen the remake?
Actually, no.
Ooh.
I haven't seen it.
I think I've seen the remake, but I don't remember it.
It's from 2013.
I've been wanting to watch it several times, but for some reason I just haven't done it.
Okay. Well, I can talk briefly about it. The first time I saw the remake, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. And the reason was, well, basically they I actually, to be honest, I can't remember why I hated it, but I think it had something to do about the main character. It's about this girl who's hooked up on heroin or crack or cocaine or something, and she and a couple of friends and her brother venture out to this cabin in the woods. Surprise. And well, she's gonna do a cold turkey. You guys know what that is?
Why is she doing animals? Don't support bestiality here.
That's not a cold turkey. Do you know what a cold turkey is? Okay.
Stop doing drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, just flat stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And in the cellar they find the book, and one of the characters read out of it, and well, all hell breaks loose, of course. And I don't know. I think I didn't like the characters and the plot overall, but I've rewatched it 2 times, I think, and I think it's okay nowadays. But we'll dig into it a little deeper down the line, I think.
Yeah.
And we'll probably cover the sequels as well, Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah. You guys have any last thoughts about the first Evil Dead movie?
Don't go into the woods with your pants down.
Thanks for the tip, Tagger.
You're welcome.
If you see a book, don't read it.
Holy shit, I need to burn books here then.
I think that's why our generation is right now.
Can you say that again, Tagger? You broke up.
Oh, I was saying that's probably why the current generation is the way it is right now. They see books and they don't read them.
Well, they don't want to get possessed by demons, you know.
I don't think learning some words from the dictionary is going to possess you.
It might possess you with knowledge.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Don't want that.
No.
More horrible fate than death.
Yeah, it has to be.
Mm-hmm.
We have tablets anyway. And cell phones.
Let the brain rot. So, you want to finish this up, or?
Yeah. That was Evil Dead. So it's a great movie and a real low budget classic.
Yeah. It's a well, I would say it's a cult classic, and it has stood
Yeah.
the test of time.
Yeah, it really has.
Yeah, even though the effects aren't that good nowadays.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up then.
So that was the Evil Dead. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
May the Necronomicon be with you.